The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday here at FRC Media. And if it's Wednesday, we have an opportunity to speak with the mayor of the city of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan, who joins us this morning. Mayor, how are you?
I'm doing okay, Keith. How about you?
I'm doing well. I actually want to start with the tragic incident this past weekend, the shooting on Linden Street in Fall River, where police officers were confronting an individual who reportedly and obviously proven to have a firearm on his possession. When police were interrogating the individual and attempting to frisk him, the individual shot two of the police officers. Fortunately, minor injuries for those two. Police returned fire and ended up killing the individual. You've been speaking a lot about this over the past few days. Are there any updates there? And, how did you feel police handled the situation?
I thought the police did an excellent job in a very trying situation. Like it was midnight or a little bit after. It was snowing. It was 10 degrees or whatever it was. It was crazy. But they went by the book. We had 3 different body cams. We must have had, 10 people, 12 people in the police station, including the district attorney, the chief, watching these body cam videos. And it really looked like they did what they were supposed to do to try to, minimize the situation. But it just got out of hand very, very quickly. And I believe that they acted in self-defense, and it was more than justified for what was going on right in front of them.
Yeah. And I believe you also spoke this week on another media outlet about the individual in this case, Mr. Vaughn. He had a string of incarcerations and charges against him, and he was let out not that long ago. And how, the judicial system sometimes needs to look at how it handles some of these situations in terms of repeat offenders.
Absolutely. I mean, just this within the last year, we had a former mayor stabbed in the neck by an individual that did not belong on the street. We had a gentleman last night with an illegal modified handgun that would fire automatically, riding around at midnight in a storm. For what purpose? If the police weren't there, I have no idea what happened. But those people do not belong out on the street, or they belong under some kind of serious house arrest after they get out or after their sentence is up. I don't think sending those people back out to enjoy a day in Fall River is the way to go. It's very, very frustrating because these individuals have a record that indicates they're dangerous. And don't get me wrong, my heart goes out to the families. They didn't want their children to grow up to be behaving like this, and I understand it. But at the same time, the rest of the public has to know that the people walking around them, driving by them, or interacting with them at a market or a store are not contemplating, crazy amounts of violence and action against people that aren't even involved in their world. There's no reason that someone should be out, with a gun modified like that and not afraid. I mean, if they're going to open fire on multiple policemen, the rest of us have no chance. And I really do get frustrated with these judges because, I know you can't do anything because they're infallible. But at the same time, when you take some years off of a person's sentence and you say to them, go ahead, report once a week for parole, you can't put other conditions like you're in every night at 9 o'clock. You are working. You're drug tested. I mean, I would, when you're giving people years of their life back, there has to be a more strict trade-off that allows them to integrate back into the society and elevate themselves and give themselves some self-worth and help them. And if they don't want to do that, then I question whether they should even be around us.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, I want to shift gears. This week, the Herald News had a story online about the two Fall River parking garages, 3rd Street and Pearl Street. Those have been in need and repair for quite some time, and I know that the city's moving forward on some of those. Can you give us an update on those garages?
Yeah, we have a couple of evaluations in hand. We're waiting for an appraisal on the value of them. We have Pearl Street and 3rd Street. We also have the flat lot across the street from 3rd Street. So what we're going to do is see what we have for value, weigh the cost to repair it with the contracts that have obligated spots in relation to how many people are going to be able to park in these garages. What do we do? Do we sell them? Do we build a new one? Do we repair them? We're going to, obviously sit down with the group and make the best decision for the city. We need to do something with these garages. They need work. There's no question about it. And it's another one of these things that you go back 15, 20 years, they were talking about the work the garages needed then, but we're here now, and it's our responsibility to take care of it.
And I know in the report it mentioned the fact that there is some revenue that the city realizes from those garages, and whether it still be worth it to the city to keep those under control. I mean, are there thoughts about maybe selling them?
Everything's on the table.
Yeah.
Everything's on the table. We know what we get per spot, per year, per car, and we know how to run the math on that. That's the easy part, but trying to get a hard number on the repairs and how extensive they have to be, and when you look at it, what does that revenue afford us? What kind of a bond does it allow us to buy to repair these things? Because obviously we don't have the free cash to just throw into these two garages and have someone fix them. That's not the way you run a city. We try to, obviously do what's best to keep our financial house in order, and we're going to look at everything. It's moving now, and we're hoping that at least one of them, people are repairing them, hopefully in the spring.
Yeah. All right, shifting gears to weather. We've been talking a lot about the snow. We've been really hit in the region over the past 3 weeks or so with a couple of storms. This past weekend, another 3 inches or so in Fall River. There was a discussion at last night's city council meeting in terms of budget about whether the city has enough for snow removal and also for the purchase of salt. I know that I'm sure you've gotten many calls on that. What can you tell us about that situation?
Well, there's no salt anywhere. We were just talking to Dartmouth earlier today. There's no salt around. So that's where we are with salt, waiting for a couple of barges from New York. Hopefully they come up today and start to replenish the site down at the bottom of Kennedy Park there, the Saltine Warrior. So that's where that is. Snow, obviously it's a perfect storm. We've had such great winters the last few years that people disconnected plows, didn't buy snow plow insurance, let guys go. I talked to a gentleman the other day at Rosario's. He said, I'm not even plowing anymore. Then we get hit with this major significant storm. We have 80 pieces running around the city, maybe a few more, give or take 5 or 10 either way. When traditionally we may have, for a storm that large, up to close to 200. So these guys are band-aiding their way around the city. Then we drop into a tundra, a cold freeze that freezes everything where it is. So you can't keep going back to widen the streets because now it's like a solid ice sheet with minimal crews. And we did the best we could. I am not disappointed in the efforts that went on at DCM. I think they were working to the best of their ability. Do I want every street done curb to curb? Absolutely. Is the equipment available to do it? I don't believe it is. Since then, we've obviously modified our insurance requirements to name the city of Fall River, and we picked up another 20, 25 pieces. But I can assure you, everybody was scrambling for pieces. I saw a thing on Providence where they were short, and it's just, we've had such great winters the last few years that people just kind of let their guard down and said, I'm not going to plow snow. I'm not making enough money. It's not worth it. Fine. But when you get hit with a whack like that, it really it's a real challenge. And we were driving people. We were opening our overflow shelters. We were getting help shoveling. We were salting. We were doing everything we could, brine the roads, and we got through it. Last night we had another inch. It seems like we're okay, but we'll keep an eye on that weather till we get out of this winter, because this has not been good at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, I want to talk about some positive news within our school department. I know that Fall River has, in the public school district, has had issues with students attending school on a regular basis. Chronic absenteeism has been high. I know that the district has been working really hard toward this. And yesterday, one of those schools that has, created some incentives, if you will, for students to stay in school, the Watson School was recognized and provided a grant of $20,000 about the great work that they've done. Talk about how the city and the school district has actually helped improve limiting those instances of absenteeism.
Right. Well, again, I just want people to take these things into account. A lot of Massachusetts districts and communities are struggling with attendance, but specifically in the Fall River Public Schools, I remember the red chair from a few years back, and we have been trying to get our attendance up. And obviously you were there. And Watson, which has statistically excellent attendance, has developed a program where the student's name goes on the wall with the amount of days in a row they've been at school. Obviously, they can't do it every day, but they do it like 45, 90, 135. They're trying to make incentives to get people to realize that this wall contains a lot of students that carry themselves with a certain amount of grace. They have a certain attendance record that is acknowledged every day when they put those, I think they were like almost like apples or hearts up on the wall. And the teachers encourage the students by saying, hey, that's good. Keith, you're here for 30 days in a row. And they try to stress that being in school, and obviously, as they said, Watson's a walk-in school. There's no buses in there. So that's a neighborhood school. And you've got kids that are keeping their attendance record intact through the snowstorm, through the challenges of getting into school every day. We had a horrible flu season, but they keep coming, and it's good to, like you said, see some positive things. And I want to thank Bristol County Savings Bank. They sponsored that little grant that's going to allow the schools to do some certain incentives across the district. So very, very positive, and I was glad. I was fortunate enough that I was able to get there.
Yeah. All right, Mayor Paul Coogan, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Okay. Thanks, Keith. Have a good day.
All right, and thank you for joining us here at FRC Media. Have a great day.